Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another RMA Fire tutorial, and today I want to teach you guys how to create a cool, fairly decent texture in Houdini and Redshift. So the first thing that we're gonna do is, if you go to myminifactory.com, and there's a bunch of really cool models here that I picked this one just because it has a texture already to it. So we're just gonna download it, and I made a folder here for our tutorial, and I'm gonna name this assets. That's where we're gonna save this. Let's bring in the downloaded thing here, do extract, and let's put this thing here. I'm gonna delete this one, and let me delete everything on this Houdini scene, and we'll start from scratch. Okay, so first things first, let's drop in a file node and let's import the model that we just downloaded. So I just dropped the model. So if you see here, we have a whole path. That's really not the right way of doing it. The right way would be for us to save the Houdini file on this folder, which is the folder for the project name, which is textures 101. And this is the file that I'm going to upload. And then here we do ship, so that it has the ship here, and then we select it here. And this way is more ideal, and uses the $hit variable for calling in the assets that we're going to use. So I transform at 0.1, maybe 0.01. Good rule of thumb, you bring in a box. You know that a box is 1 by 1 meters, so this is definitely not real scale, but an okay scale to work with. I'm gonna hit spacebar and number 3 on the viewport and put it like slightly above the floor plane. So now we have the model. Now we wanna see what the UVs look like. So UV quick shade, and we don't need to UV yet, because if we middle click, you'll see that it already comes in with the UVs. They look totally fine. So what does it look like when we add the texture that the thing had with, the model came with? Cool. So let's set up a basic material for this. We're gonna copy the texture here, and we're gonna add a material. Then we're gonna come into material, and I'm gonna delete everything that I had. And we're gonna do RS material, and then type Redshift material. So you'll get these two nodes. This one is the RS, and this one is the Redshift. So we connect this here, so that the material is where we're gonna be changing stuff. If you click here, you get all of the parameters, and then the first thing we're gonna do is in the RS texture, and we're gonna paste the path that we had copied earlier, meaning the path that is here. You notice I didn't connect it because I'm gonna show you guys what it looks like default, and then what it looks like when we connect it. So we have the thing, we need the light, so I'm gonna use a dome for this. And on the dome, we're gonna come here to the light, and we're gonna say texture. And on the texture, we're gonna use one of the best HDR eyes that anybody has ever built in the universe. Just kidding, guys. But yeah, no, I'm not kidding. These HDR eye packs are fucking the bomb. These are the RMA HDRI packs, the ones that have been released. We're gonna use parking lots version volume 1. As you can see, I have a few others in the working, but this one, see like the contrast and the different lights that this thing has it's fucking awesome. So let's use that for our base light. And let's bring in a camera. Look from the camera, lock the camera, find a decent angle that we're gonna use to light it. Then we're gonna go to the out context, delete everything, and type Redshift, and we'll get this Redshift. And then we're gonna do render view, make this small, save, and then now we can hit render. Alright, and this is what we get. Let's increase the light intensity a tiny bit. Let's show you how sexy it looks when we rotate it. Great. Now we need the texture, so we're gonna go into the material and we're gonna connect the texture onto the diffuse color. Let's reload. And the reason we're not seeing anything is because we did not assign the material just yet. So on the material, we click here and we say Redshift material, which is the material that we chose. You want to make sure that you select the one with the flag. Let's refresh. And there we go, we have a base thing working. I'm gonna increase the light's intensity a tiny bit. Alright, so we have our base thing working here. So on the material. The diffuse, like I said, is the color. So if we get rid of the diffuse, we no longer have the texture. The reflection is set to high. So if we turn it down, you see we get rid of the reflections. But if we increase the roughness, then the reflection is gonna get blurrier. So like this is very blurry, like this is very zero blurry. We're gonna add just a tiny bit of blur to the reflection. We're not gonna use sheen. The refraction, there is no need for refraction because that's like water and other and skin and other kind of material. We're just building a basic material on this scene, and therefore no need for subsurface or refraction. So simple as that. We're just gonna focus on this first few things. Now let's have a look at how we can apply gold where it's on some areas and this material that we're doing here on the other areas. So we do a color correct. So you type RS color correct, you type this here, it's connected here. We want to make it black and white. We're going to decrease the gamma, and the contrast, we're going to increase it. So what's white will be one material, and what's black is going to be the other material. So let's stop this. RS blend material. You connect the first one here. Let's close this. Let's type RS material again. Connect this one to the second input, and on this one we're gonna say we want it to be gold. So as you can see, you have a bunch of cool presets here. And the black and white texture that we made, we're gonna connect it onto the blend. Let's have a look at what this gives us. It looks cool, but it looks like it's pretty heavy on the gold. So let's see, if we reduce the gamma, you see that the gold gets removed. Increase it, it gets brought back in. It's inverted. Let's see what happens if we play with the inverted version of this. Let's have a look at what we're actually seeing here. I think that looks pretty cool. And just so that you guys can see what it's really happening easier, like we can make this black, and you can see that that black is the area that is being turned to gold. So we can play with here and see like if we wanted more gold or less gold. Alright, so we have that base. Now, what do we want to add? Like break up the gold just a little bit so it's not so flat, so pristine. So let's have a look at the noise, RS noise. We come here and we reduce the amplitude, increase the complexity a tiny bit, and the frequency we're gonna increase it quite a lot. So this is creating a really small tight noise onto everything. Let's pull this down here so we have a little bit more space. Drop this down and we're gonna do RS bump. On the bump, I recommend selecting the height and setting it to a 0.01 because the value that I start off at default so that it's subtle. So we connect it here. You will see in most cases this subtleness is enough. You see that like it's nice because it's just like a little bit of a bump that breaks up the texture a bit. When we connect it, you can see it's a little strong, and when you have a bump and makes your texture darker, it means that it's too high, too strong. So you reduce it even more, see it becomes lighter again. So I feel like that's kind of cool. Let's play with reducing a tiny bit more. Or like something like that feels a little more realistic. Now what we're gonna do is do another RS color correct. Connect our initial texture here. Make it black and white. And we're gonna use that as a bump that's gonna be applied to the entire thing. So it's just gonna push up and down a few areas to like make it more defined. All right, so let's have a look at this. Let's reduce the roughness here. I'm gonna stop the render and we're gonna add a ground plane. Let's make this ground plane larger. We're gonna add a material to this. And let's just make this a simple material. RS material and Redshift material. We're gonna name this floor and let's just make this plastic and save. On the grid, let's select the flag with the floor. Come back here, And we're gonna do rs light. It's gonna create a light. Let's position one of these lights right here, like that, and then the other one over here. And we're gonna make this one bigger. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a null, connect two lights to the null, and then you can just move them like that. Let's find a nice angle. Let's come out of the camera. Select the camera, hit Z on your viewport to like get a nice depth of field going. Come back into your camera. Let's save again. Let's see what we get. Not bad, not bad. Let's kind of move it around a little bit. Let's see, guys, what happens if we make the ground darker. Let's have a look at a different parking lot pack light option. You can see the reflections on the floor are super sharp because we haven't added any little bit of blur to it, and it seems like we're not in focus here. So that's nice. Let's come into your material and make it rougher so that we don't see the cars. And now that we have something that's looking quite decent, I'll come in a little closer and I'm gonna select this wheel here. And we'll do the final little tweaks. Click on LUT, click here, and then select down on your, you can just click down on your view, on your keyboard. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. Then you can do a little bit of a color correct here if you want it. And you could add like a little bit of bloom. And you can play with the flare and the streak if you want it. Just wanted to show you that. Let's make sure that we are on the camera so that we get that nice depth of field there. But as you can see, you have quite a lot of control. Now you could either, on the parts that are gold, make them more or less rough, and with these parameters that we touched on, you'll be able to get quite a bit of nice control. Alright guys, we hope you guys like this tips, and we'll be back with more.